So as you can see, Faustina has left her microphone on, is disturbing everybody. So I need to mute everybody. And I want to apologize for starting late today. My computer chose today to do system update, BIOS update. That is why we are starting late. Today we want to look at speaking test, IELTS speaking test. And one of the tests you will be taking as IELTS students is the speaking test. The speaking test is the same for academic, IELTS academic or general training. It's the same. So everybody here must pay attention. So what is the IELTS speaking paper? The speaking test is a face-to-face interview between the test taker and an examiner. The speaking test is recorded. There are 3 parts to the test, and each part follows a specific pattern of tasks in order to test your speaking ability in different ways. So one, a speaking test is a face-to-face interview between you, the test taker, and your examiner. So on the day of your speaking test, you go to an exam center, you sit in front of an examiner, and the examiner will ask you questions. You answer. It's an interview. Please remember, whatever you do on that day in that test room, everything there is recorded. Now, there are 3 parts of that test. Now, this is the marking criteria. Certificated IELTS examiners assess your speaking performance throughout the test. There are 4 assessment criteria, that is, things which the examiner thinks about when deciding what score to give you. And these 4 criteria include 1, fluency and accuracy, fluency and coherence. Speaking without long pauses, without break, and flowing coherently, making sense. 2, lexical resource. This is about the use of your vocabulary, your choice of vocabulary, so that you can change sentence, find substitute words to words in a sentence without it hassle. Then the third area they look out for is grammatical error, grammatical range and accuracy. Grammatical range and accuracy. How good is your grammar? Present tense, past tense, future tense, and so on. And then finally, pronunciations. Pronunciations, how you pronounce words. Now, we take each of them. Fluency and accuracy. Fluency and coherency. Fluency and coherency. Fluency and coherence assesses how well you can speak at a normal speed without too much hesitation. It also includes putting your sentences and ideas in a logical order and using cohesive devices. Cohesive devices, including linking words. These are things we're going to learn. Pronouns and conjunctions, etc., appropriately so that what you say is not difficult to follow. So there's a video on fluency and coherency I'm going to play for you to see. Then maybe I should play that one now. So I click on this link, just a second. It should load to YouTube. Oh, come on. Just updated. All right, it's coming.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. David Costa, the Dean and CEO here at Robert Kennedy College in Zurich, Switzerland. And I'm here today to introduce the university.
In the speaking test, like in any exam, it's really important to know what the examiner is listening for and how they decide what mark to give you. To help you with this, in this video...
Okay, so that is the audio. 1 second, let me make sure I'm sharing the sound so all of you can hear the sound. So I am starting all over.
In the speaking test, like in any exam, it's really important to know what the examiner is listening for and how they decide what mark to give you. To help you with this, in this video and at other videos throughout the course, we're going to look at the assessment criteria that the examiners use for IELTS. Remember, there are 4 assessment criteria for the speaking test: lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, pronunciation, and the one we're going to talk about now, fluency and coherence. For fluency and coherence, the examiner judges how well you can speak without long pauses and the way that you join your ideas and speech together to make it natural and easy to understand. Someone with a really good score speaks fluently with only occasional repetition and self-correction and develops topics coherently and appropriately. Someone whose score is not so good produces simple speech fluently, but more complex communication causes fluency problems. You'll find the full fluency and coherence descriptors on this step. Have a look at them and think about which areas you feel you need to improve most. It might be speaking at length on a topic, perhaps avoiding long pauses or overcorrecting yourself, or something else. Once you've identified what areas you want to work on, the rest of this week will help you practice and improve on them.
Okay. So that is for coherence and
Hi, I'm
sorry. Where's my presentation? There you are. Okay. So that is for fluency and coherence. Speaking without long pauses, but making sense throughout. The next one is lexical resource. A lexical resource assesses the range of vocabulary you use and how accurately and appropriately you use vocabulary to express meaning. It also includes the ability to express yourself using alternative vocabulary when you don't know a particular word. Okay? A short video on that. Let's watch that too. Just a few minutes, it's loading. It should be showing on your screen shortly. Okay, so it's loading now.
Remember that back in week one,
Okay, so let me increase the font size. Much better. Let me make sure I share the sound for you to hear. Okay.
we saw there are 4 assessment criteria. Well, we've already looked at fluency and coherence, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. The The last one, which we'll look at now, is lexical resource. This is firstly about your vocabulary, using the right word at the right time and not always using the same words time and again, but using a wide range. The description for Band 6 says, has a wide enough vocabulary to discuss topics at length and make meaning clear in spite of inappropriacies. Lexical resource is about managing when you don't have the right word as well. The description for Band 6 says, generally paraphrases successfully. Part 3 of the speaking test is an excellent opportunity to show your range of vocabulary and your ability to paraphrase. On the next step, you'll see 2 students doing Part 3 and think about how well they managed to do that. Remember that back in week 1, we saw there are 4 assessment criteria?
Okay, so that is the short video on lexical resource. Let me go back to my presentation. All right, here we are. Now we are done with lexical resource. Let's go to the next area of assessment, grammatical range and accuracy, where your tenses are marked. And the last one is pronunciation, assesses your ability to speak in a way which can be understood without too much effort. Now, in summary, the speaking test has 3 parts, and it will last between 11 to 14 minutes. 11, maximum 14 minutes, the test is over. Now, let's look at the various parts of the speaking test. So, speaking test part 1, introduction and interview. What is involved? In this part, the examiner introduces him or herself and checks your identity. Then the examiner asks you general questions on some familiar topics, such as home, family, work, studies, or interests. Okay, it will be a topic you generally will know. To be a topic on everyday things, to be familiar to you. Part 1 would take between 4 to 5 minutes long. What skills are tested in part 1? This part tests your ability to give opinions and information on everyday topics and common experiences or situations by answering a range of questions. Okay, so part 1, simple, straightforward, some interaction, where 4 to 5 minutes you are done. Then part 2, which is the long run. Part 2 takes a much longer time than the part 1. What is involved? The part 2 is the individual long run. The examiner gives you a task card which asks you to talk about a particular topic. The card tells you what points you should include in your talk and instructs you to explain one aspect of the topic. You have a minute to prepare your talk, and the examiner will give you a pencil and paper to make notes. So in the part 2, you'll be given a paper. The paper has a topic, and the topic has some subtopics you're going to talk about. On top of that, the examiner will give you a fresh sheet of paper. If they don't give you, request for it, ask for it. But they will give you a paper and a pencil. And you will be given 1 minute to make a note of what you're going to talk about. There's a technique here we're going to teach you called mind map, mind mapping. You do a mind map and you're going to talk on the topics in your map. By using the point on the task card and making notes during the preparation time, you should be able to think of appropriate things to say and have time to structure your talk so that you keep talking for 2 minutes. The examiner will then ask you to begin talking and will stop you when the time is up. They may then ask you 1 or 2 questions on the same topic. So you'll be given a topic, talk about this. You will have 2 minutes to talk. Now, you keep talking until you are asked to stop. Most students' mistake is they said, excuse me. The mistake of most students is because they said you have 2 minutes to talk. Then you will begin to look at his time. Okay, 2 minutes. Then we start talking and be rushing and mumbling until the 2 minutes. Sometimes people talk because they are rushing in less than 2 minutes. They are finished saying what they want to say. No, keep talking until you are asked to stop. Then the examiner may ask you 1 or 2 questions. Now, part 2 will last between 3 to 4 minutes, including the preparation time. So you have 1 minute. They give you the card, give you the questions, then they will give you 1 minute to do the mind mapping, 1 minute to note down the point you want to talk about. Then they will ask you to speak, and you have 2 minutes maximum to speak. And when you are done, 1 or 2 questions are there. So maximum 4 minutes, you are done. The part 2 tests your ability to speak at length on a given topic, using appropriate language, and organize your ideas logically. You will need to think about your own experiences to complete the long run. Then the last part, the part 3 in the speaking test. In part 3, you and the examiner discuss issues related to the topic in part 2 in a more general and abstract way, and when appropriate, in greater depth. Part 3 lasts 4 to 5 minutes, and this part tests your ability to explain your opinions and to analyze, discuss, and speculate about issues. Okay, so that is the 3 parts in the test. Now, I have a few tips to share with you on how to prepare for that test. But before then, I want to show you, or I want to play 1 second. Just give me a minute. I want to show you how you are to prepare for that test. Just give me a minute. Let me load that video. Okay, so here we go.
Hi. So you've done all your preparation and practiced your English a lot, and now you want to know what you can do during the exam. Here are 5 tips to help you get the best mark in your next speaking exam. Number 1. Remember, it's not a race, so slow down. Before you speak, think carefully about what you want to say and speak a little slower than normal. Number 2. If you don't understand the question or the activity, don't worry. Ask the examiner to explain it again. You can say something like, "Could you repeat that, please?" Number 3. When you're asked a question, don't just say yes or no as your answer. The examiner wants to know how good your English is, so try to explain your answer with a reason. Say, "Yes, I agree because," or "No, I don't think so because." Number 4. Look at the examiner's or other students' faces and eyes when you speak. Faces can tell you a lot. If you see that the examiner or your partner don't understand you, then say it again using different words. And finally, number 5. Speak clearly so that the examiner can hear you. If you find this difficult, practice with a friend at home. Stand at opposite ends of a room and speak to each other in English. Or speak to each other in English online or on the phone. Okay, so these are our top 5 tips. But just one final piece of advice. Your teacher or examiner are only human, and usually they will really want you to do well. So, take a deep breath, smile, relax, and good luck on your next speaking exam. For more tips on learning English, why not subscribe to our channel and visit the Learn English Teens website for more learning material.
Okay, so thanks to the British Council for that video. Very calming, very nice, really has an effect. Now let me bring up that video. I'm talking about the speaking test. I want to show you an actual speaking test and how a student took that test. Just a minute to show on your screen shortly. So whilst you wait, please remember the speaking test is one of the easiest tests out of the 4 tests. You can easily score a very high mark in the speaking test. And this is the test that will help improve or pull up.
Kilo Code is a powerful open source.
Will help pull up your tests, your other parts of the test.
AI coding assistant that supercharges your development workflow right in.
Okay. So let me share my screen for you to watch this one.
Hi there, my name's Natasha. In this video, we're going to review an IELTS speaking test together. Let's watch.
Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. So let's talk about reading. Did you have a favorite book when you were a child?
Yes, mainly historical genre. I really love to read this kind of book, mainly my dad motivate me a lot to read historical book.
How much reading do you do for your work or studies?
Every month I have a target to finish at least 2 books. And when I study in the university, at least I read 3 to 4 books in a week, as I was a postgraduate student and they require me to have a lot of academic reference to support my assignment or paperwork.
What kinds of books do you read for pleasure?
I love to read National Geographic, as they often release on the monthly basis, and they always a lot of great story, fascinating around the world, explaining what sort of phenomenon, like what happened recently with COVID-19 pandemic.
So that was a solid start. Tim was able to answer the questions and expand his answers with relevant examples and information. This is a very important skill for IELTS speaking. There are some grammar errors, however. For example, when talking about studying at university in the past, Tim says, "When I study in the university, at least I read 3 to 4 books in a week, as I was a postgraduate student, and they require me to have a lot of academic reference to support my assignment or paperwork." So he gets the be verb correct. I was a postgraduate student, but he uses the simple present verb for study, read, and require rather than past simple studied, read, and required. The questions are designed to see if you can use a range of grammar, including different verb tenses, so getting these right is really important. I should mention, if you're looking for live classes that cover skills like grammar and pronunciation, in addition to advanced classes that go through each part of the IELTS speaking test in detail, sign up for free at e2testprep.com. Let's keep watching.
Do you prefer to read a newspaper or a magazine online or to buy a copy?
Yeah, well, I think so. When I was a kid, I read a lot of textbook. However, as time goes by, with a lot of advancement in the technology, I can access e-newspaper easily, even on my mobile phone as well. And they tend to be cheaper, as I just need to pay a subscription like $10 monthly, and I can have multiple resources in just one click.
Just quickly notice how the question presents a choice. Do you prefer X or Y? But Tim starts by saying, "Yeah, I think so." He doesn't state a preference here, so it's a little bit unclear what he means. A better way to start would be by saying which one he prefers. For example, "I find reading newspapers online much more convenient." He does a good job of explaining his reasons, though. He says he can access them easily on his phone and that they're cheaper, and he ends with a great phrase, "in just one click." This is a very natural use of an idiomatic phrase. Let's keep watching.
Now let's talk about paying bills. What kinds of bills do you have to pay?
Ooh, I like these questions. Since I graduated from university, I feel I'm responsible for all bills in my life. Apart from rental and groceries, I also have to pay my car bill, including radio, where previously my parents helped me to cover it. But now it's like 100% become my own responsibility.
Tim structures this answer well. He explains that since graduation, he's taken on responsibility for his bills. He gives examples, rental and groceries, and he says he has to pay his car bill. Car bill is not very precise, but he clarifies his meaning, saying including rego. Now, I just want to talk about this word for a second. Rego is a slang word in Australia, short for registration. A slang word is a very informal word that's used by a particular group of people, and the thing about slang is that people from outside that group may not understand it. So it's a good idea not to use too much slang in your IELTS test, and definitely don't use slang from one country if you think people from another country may not understand it. Tim does use a nice idiomatic phrase here. Previously, my parents helped me cover it. This means that in the past, his parents helped him to pay his bill, but by using idiomatic expressions like cover it instead of common vocabulary like pay for it, Tim is more likely to score a higher band score for lexical resource. Let's continue with the test.
How do you usually pay your bills? In cash or by another method?
Most of the time I use my bank account to transfer or via BPay, as I can easily track them every month on my bank statement for my future reference as well.
Is there anything you could do to make your bills cheaper?
Yes, I believe so. Since I'm currently working as an accountant, I believe every company they have a marketing budget that often customer can maximize this in their own way. For example, when I'm doing a grocery shopping in Coles or Woolies, I often to buy a gift card online that offer me 5 to 10% discount. In that way, I can reduce my grocery bills, which is my second biggest expense.
The first part of this answer is a little bit confusing. Tim says companies have a marketing budget that customers can maximize. The meaning is not very clear here. Perhaps we can guess that he means companies have promotional offers or something like that. Remember that to score a 6 in lexical resource, your meaning needs to be clear, but to score an 8, you need to convey precise meaning. But luckily, Tim gives an example to explain what he means. He mentions shopping in some Australian supermarkets, Coles and Woolies, and says he buys a gift card that offers a discount. The last sentence is great. He uses a signal phrase, in that way, to introduce the result and explains why it's important using a great comparative phrase, my second biggest expense. So by giving the example, Tim has explained what he means more clearly. Let's move on.
Now let's talk about sleep. How many hours do you usually sleep at night?
Normally, I sleep 8 hours. However, these days I have so much activities apart from work and sport activities. I only can sleep for about 5 to 7 hours. However, I feel it's enough because it's all about the quality of sleeping rather than the time length of sleeping.
Do you sometimes sleep during the day?
When I was primary school, I always took a nap for at least 1 or 2 hours. However, this changed when I grew up because I feel it's kind of waste of time. I can use my time to do something more productive during the day.
Let's talk about Tim's pronunciation for a moment. You can probably hear that sometimes Tim mispronounces words. For example, here he says hours with an H sound at the beginning, whereas the correct pronunciation is to start with the ow vowel sound, hours. Have a listen.
When I was primary school, I always took a nap for at least 1 or 2 hours.
Minor mispronunciations like this don't stop us from understanding Tim's meaning, though, so he could still score well on pronunciation. One thing Tim does quite well is use stress. He places the stress on the correct syllables of the words, and he stresses the most important words in the sentence. Listen to his final sentence again.
I can use my time to do something more productive during the day.
Because he stresses the correct syllables of the words and correct words in the sentence, his speech has quite a natural rhythm, and this helps him to be understood more easily. Let's see how Tim finishes part 1.
What do you do if you can't get to sleep?
And just like that, I was having the best day ever. Who will you share a cook with?
You have to meet my best friend.
Hey, check out my hair.
Which one? The one on your head or the one in the sink?
Just use the mega
At night.
No, most of the time I read a book and watch on Netflix or just simply browsing on the phone because that's the moment I can have sort of my me time. Just spend between 5 to 15 minutes, and magically, all this method can help me sleep easily.
There are a couple of great uses of vocabulary in this answer. He says, I can have my me time. Me time is an idiomatic expression that he uses very naturally and accurately here. It means time that you spend by yourself doing something that you enjoy that makes you feel calm or relaxed, which is a great way to describe reading a book or watching Netflix. I love how he uses the word magically to explain how doing these activities helps him to sleep easily. I think Tim could score well for a lexical resource, but sometimes there are grammar issues, which means his score for grammatical range and accuracy might not be as good. For example, he says, all this method, but he's talking about several different activities, so he needs to use a plural here, all these methods. Tim can practice avoiding mistakes like this to really improve his score for this criterion. So that was speaking part 1. Tim's pronunciation is fairly clear, and he's used some effective idiomatic and less common vocabulary. He generally answers the questions with relevant ideas, explanations, and examples, and overall, his fluency has been good, despite some hesitation. Although Tim made grammar errors, so far they haven't stopped us from understanding his meaning. However, to get a better score for grammatical range and accuracy, I'd advise Tim to revise the use of verb tenses, prepositions, and plurals. Before we move on to part 2, don't forget to click the subscribe button. That way, you won't miss any of our new videos covering everything IELTS related.
Okay, so that is a comprehensive review of the part 1 test. Now I want to play a video of the entire part 1 without any interruption, and you see how it goes. Just give me a minute to load that video.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Phil Smith. Can you tell me your full name, please?
My name is Sausan Hassan.
Okay. So, guys, this is going to be a full IELTS speaking test. This is a British Council video. Full IELTS speaking test without any interruption. I want you to watch it from the beginning to the end completely. Don't blink.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Phil Smith. Can you tell me your full name, please?
My name is Sausan Hassan.
Thank you. And can you tell me where you're from?
I'm from Syria.
Can I see your identification,
Yes,
please?
sure.
Thank you, that's fine. Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about what you do. Do you work or are you a student?
I'm a student.
And what subject are you studying?
English literature.
Why did you choose this subject?
Well, I like literature very much, and English is international language, so English literature is one of the best majors I've ever studied, so I like it very much.
What do you hope to do when you finish your studies?
Well, I'm planning to complete my higher studies. I'll be doing an MA, and eventually I'll be doing a PhD to be a professor in English literature.
Now let's talk about weekends. What do you usually do at the weekend?
Well, usually I go to visit my relatives or even friends, but sometimes I stayed at home just for if I have exams or something to study, so I just stay at home. But most of my time, actually, I spend it with my friends, going out for to drink something or to have fun, enjoy it.
What do you think you'll do next weekend?
Well, next weekend I have to go to a trip to York, and I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, why?
Well, because I've heard that York, it's a very ancient city. So, and the Vikings were there, and I like the ancient things, and I like history.
Do you enjoy your weekends now more than you did when you were a child?
Well, not really. When I was a child, I just spent all my weekends playing, but now I have lots of concerns. Sometimes I have to stay at home to study. So, no, when I was a child, I enjoyed most.
How important is it for you to relax at the end of the week?
Well, it is very important because you just relax out of the whole week because you were studying or working. So you need peace and relax and sometimes to take a great time of sleeping just to prepare yourself for the next week.
Let's talk about music. What sort of music do you usually enjoy listening to?
Well, I like music very much because I'm a singer myself. I like to sing, so I have a great taste of music. I like the classical. I like the Arabic music, and so music is very important. I have to listen to music all the day.
Has the kind of music you like changed over the years?
Well, yes, it changed because I used to listen to the almost I mean it's not a slow music, and nowadays it's just in the very fast and sometimes techno, and I don't like this kind of music. I still listen to the music that I liked, and I still have the same CDs, and all the time I listen. I sometimes listen to this music, the new music, but I don't like it. I just like to listen to the music that I liked when I was a child.
Do you prefer listening to live music or recorded music?
Well, recorded. I don't like live music because
Why?
I feel always the singer is not good in live music, so I feel that recorded is better.
Do you think listening to music helps you study?
Yes, I always listen to music when I'm studying. Sometimes my friends make fun of me because I'm not concentrating, but actually it makes me more concentrated.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes.
Here's some paper and a pencil for making notes. And here's your topic. And I'd like you to describe a special gift or present you gave to someone. All right. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Okay. The special gift actually I gave to my mother, and it was a necklace in the Mother Day. And actually, I've been to different shops to search for what am I going to give my mother, because giving her anything is just, you feel it. It's very simple. But I looked for different shops, and I then decided to take a very lovely necklace, and it wasn't that much expensive because I was I had the money for it. So, and I asked the salesman to wrap it for me in a very colored papers, and I just tried to put the red tie in it, and then I hide it in my I didn't tell her about it till the party, because we usually make a party for my mother in the Mother Day, so I didn't tell her about it till at the party. And when I gave it to her, she was really happy very much, and she was almost in tears because she really liked it. And she told me, no matter how simple it is, since you think about giving me anything, so that's really great. So I was really happy for really giving her this present, and she's wearing it every time when she goes out, or and she always tell her friends about it. Look what my daughter brought to me in the Mother Day. So I really was proud and happy that she really like it. Yeah, and so every time I see it, she really she's really proud of it. And
do you enjoy giving gifts?
Yes, I really enjoy. I like even to take gifts, but I enjoy giving gifts to my friends or to the members of my family, because it shows that you are thinking of them and you really care for them.
Thank you. Can I have the booklet and the paper and pencil back, please?
Yes.
We've been talking about a special gift you gave to someone, and I'd like to discuss with you 1 or 2 more general questions related to this. Let's consider, first of all, giving gifts in families. On what occasions do family members give gifts to each other in Syria?
Well, usually they give gifts on birthdays, in special occasions like, for example, the Eid in my country, and in Christmas time. So, and sometimes if anybody was graduated from college or from school, and somebody who is get out of a hospital and he's now in a very good health, so we usually give them presents and gifts.
Do people tend to spend a lot of money on gifts?
Sometimes, yeah, but it depends on the person that you are giving the gifts, and it depends on your own financial status.
Okay, let's talk about the type of gifts that children give to adults and their families. What sort of gifts do they give?
This is really interesting, because the children always tend to think from their own view. That for example, if a small child is going to give his father or mother a gift, he's going to tend to give him a kind of a toy, maybe, or something that the father or the mother won't use, but because the child think that I like this, so I want to give it to my father. So they always give it from their point of view, that because I like this, my father is going to like it. So it's really interesting. The child, it's very simple and sometimes it's very humble. They give
So
it
at
to.
what age do children start to choose gifts for their parents, do you think?
Well, it depends how the parents brought them up. Sometimes I think it's when they start to recognize the real relationships, because when they were before 7 or before 6 years old, they tend not to recognize what does it mean to give a gift or to give and even they don't recognize the relationships. But after 7, I think they start to recognize and to feel that I need to give a present to my father or mother as they are giving me, and every time I have an occasion.
So how important do you think giving gifts is within families?
Yeah, it is important because you always give them the feeling that you are really caring for them and you really think of them. And whenever you give them things that they like, you feel that you're really all the time thinking of them. And I mean, yeah, I mean, it's also tied up the relationships and makes it more strong.
Thank you. Right, let's move on from personal gifts to international gifts, if you want, and talk about international aid. What sort of aid do countries give to other countries?
Well, sometimes it gives the international aids whenever a country is in need for something and the country cannot afford to make it or to bring it, so the other countries will help her, for example, in food aids, and especially in disasters and when something bad happened to this country, so they're going to give it food aids, sometimes medical aids. Sometimes psychological aids as we do, because I work in the Red Crescent, so I know what this does it mean to give a psychological aids for sometimes for refugees or for even to go for the near countries that really need. For example, in my country, we go to Iraq or to Lebanon in the invasion, and so we help them psychologically to just pass and get over this.
So, what do you think motivates government to give aid to other countries?
Well, it is important because I feel that let us recognize ourselves that at the end we are all human beings and we are living in the same club, and it's like a small village, and we are all members of the same the same land. So I feel it's just really makes the relationships more strong, and it gives you it really let you feel like your humanity at the end.
And do you think the aid is always helpful?
Yes, I think so. Because whenever you think of giving aid to other countries, I mean, it's when they are in need. I mean, it's really helpful.
Thank you very much. That is the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.
Okay. So the last video you watched is the full speaking test, an example of the full speaking test, parts 1, 2, and 3. And that is how the speaking test goes. Now, as you can see, it is not a test we should be afraid of. In fact, the last video sounds like just good morning, like a friendly chat you're having with a friend, just that this time the friend is your examiner and is marking you as you speak. We're going to practice this a lot. There's one more video I think you should watch. We can bring the class to an end. No, I think we watched this already. 1 second. Okay.
really need. For example, in my country, we go to Iraq or to Lebanon. It's really helpful.
Thank you very much. That is the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Judith Harvey. Can you tell me your full name, please?
My name is Razia Bilici.
Thank you. And can you tell me where you're from, Razia?
I'm from Turkey.
Can I see your identification, please? Thank you. That's fine. Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about what you do. Do you work or are you a student?
I'm a nurse.
And why did you choose this kind of work?
I have two reasons for that. First, I'm from Turkey. In Turkey, you have to pass a very difficult exam if you like to go to the university. And I get mark for just nursing, I think. And the second one, from my childhood, I always be like doctor or nurse and to help other people. So I really like that, which is my mom always contrast because she wants to maybe a teacher like my sisters.
What kind of work would you like to do in the future?
I don't know system in England very well, but maybe nursing advisor or some management job. I don't know exactly.
Now let's talk about weekends. What do you usually do at the weekend?
At the moment, my weekends are very busy because I do a lot of housework and I have a 2.5 years daughter. She's a very exciting and energetic child. And she mess up everywhere very quickly. It's not easy to tidy up and do it well.
What do you think you'll do next weekend?
I planned something for last week, but I couldn't do it. I'd like to bring my husband to the cinema. And after cinema, maybe we'll go to the Turkish restaurant in Santais.
Do you enjoy your weekends now more than you did when you were a child?
No, I prefer to be a child again because when you are a child, you just play and you haven't got any responsibility or job to do. But now it's so different and difficult.
How important is it for you to relax at the end of the week?
It's very important, but at the moment it's not possible because now I'm studying English as well. Is when you start a job or study, you would like to be fresh, but it's really difficult to be.
They say the sweetness of the pudding is in the eating.
Now let's talk about music. What sort of music do you usually enjoy listening to?
I'm not fan of music a lot, but I usually listen to Turkish music. And the classic Turkish music is get me relaxed. And
has the kind of music you like changed over the years?
Maybe pop music, Turkish pop music, probably, yeah.
Do you prefer listening to live music or recorded music?
Yes, it depends on the kind of music. In Turkey, I prefer live music, but in England, I have to listen to tape music.
Do you think listening to music helps you study?
Probably not, but I do a lot. It's okay with the physics or maths or something like that, but for the literacy or something you have to be focused on it, it's not.
Now, I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make some notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes.
Here's some paper and a pencil for making notes.
Thank you.
And here's your topic. I'd like you to describe a special gift or present you gave to someone. All right. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Yes, the special gifts I give it to someone. It was to my. I gave it to my English teacher last year. She is a fan of Turkey and Turkish culture. I gave to her some special glass, which is we just use for the Turkish tea, and she loves Turkish tea. And my last holiday, I bring some special like a golden Turkish glasses, and she really liked them. It was special because she likes Turkish culture, Turkish food, and she knows a lot about Turkey. When we are together, we can speak a lot about my culture, my religion, and stuff from Turkey or cities of Turkey. And she's great, I think, because it's really nice to know somebody from England and know about you well. And another gift, another special gifts I give somebody who was my mother-in-law, and normally we don't celebrate Mother Days, and she had never had any present from her child, and in my family we celebrate Mother Days very specially, and I bought a ring for her, and she was really exciting and sensible because the first time somebody celebrate her Mother's Day, and she even didn't know about Mother's Day, but I explained to her, and then I give her gifts, and after that I always do.
Thank you. Do you enjoy giving gifts?
Yes, I really like to give people gifts. When I saw them, they like it, they're excited about it. I feel happy too.
Thank you. Can I have the booklet, paper and pencil back, please? We've been talking about a special gift you gave to someone, and I'd like to discuss with you 1 or 2 more general questions related to this. Let's consider, first of all, giving gifts in families.
Okay.
What occasions do family members give gifts to each other?
It depends on country because every country has a different occasion. In England, I have been here for 4 years, especially before Christmas. People are crazy about giving gifts, shopping. But for us in Turkey, we have a lot of special religious days. 2 of them are very big. One of them we celebrate for 4 days. Another one we celebrate for 3 days. And we bought a lot of gifts for family ships and neighbors, sometimes friends. And one of them we buy present for poor people, especially for poor people.
And what is the difference between the types of gift given to children and the gifts given to adults in families?
It's easy to find gifts for children because you can buy toys, books, or some clothes. But for the adults, it's really difficult to find what they would like.
So what types of gifts do people give to adults?
Maybe some jewelry or some part of clothes, probably, yeah.
And is giving gifts important in families?
Yes, because you show them, you remember them, you love them. It's really important to me. Yeah.
Let's talk about giving gifts in society. What situations in business are there when people might give gifts?
Probably maybe first day they set up their business, they celebrate that and give a present to employees or worker. And or in Turkey, colleagues give each other and or to their boss in New Year.
And what about giving gifts to customers?
Good way to keep customer, I think. Yeah.
What types of gifts do businesses give?
I really don't know. Maybe some sale or drop in the price, something like that.
And how important is gift giving for a country's economy?
I think in England it's perfect for economy because gifts are very important. Normally for us, if we know people haven't got the money, they don't have to buy anything. But I think this country you have to buy something, and it's a good circle for to keep money turned and turned again and again.
Do you think there's pressure on people to buy too many gifts?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Why?
Because I don't know very well, but if you have some special days and you didn't get anything, maybe you will be sad, and we expect that.
Do you think it would be better for society if all the money that was spent on gifts was given to help poor people?
Yeah, that would be perfect, but I don't think it's possible. But that will be really good, yeah.
Why not possible?
Because people still like have a present or being remembered, something like that. But it would be nice, yeah.
Do you think people in society should be made to give money to help other people?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know where is the poor people, or I don't know there is or not. If the society or the government or the another community help me to find poor people, probably I will, yeah, and other people will too.
Is it better for people to give money or their time to help other people?
I'm sorry, could you repeat it?
Is it better for people to give money or their time to help other people?
Yes, it's better because when you need help, other people will help you, and it will be circle again, and everybody will help each other.
So do you think that we should be made, or school children should be made to help other people?
Yeah, if you train at a young age, it will be like a habit for you. When an adult or older, you will always help the people. Yeah, it's like a science or not, I think.
Thank you very much. That's the end of the speaking test.
Oh, thank you.
Every day.
All right. So that is a second speaking test, almost also on almost a similar topic. And you see the performance of two different students at the speaking test. For each of those two students, you saw all the three parts: the part one, the interview, the part two, the individual long run, and then part three, going deeper into the part two topic. So, and the speaking test, the format, the content, the structure is the same for both general training and academic. Same structure, same content, same format. What we're going to do in the coming days is going to take each of those topics and delve deeper into. Going to take each of those topics. So when you take pronunciation in the speaking test, going to practice a lot of words, especially words around the IELTS speaking test. We're going to do a lot of practice on it so that you will improve your speaking English, linking words, and what have you. All right, so here's the end of today's class. Does anybody have a question? Do you have any question to ask, any comment, any concern? Let me unmute everybody. Do you have any question at all? Okay, so I can see Augustina Lamisi. Augustina, your hand is up. Can you unmute your mic and speak now?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Augustina. I can hear you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Augustina. We can all hear you.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Augustina, good evening. We can all hear you.
Hello. Hello, good evening, sir.
Augustina, go ahead with your question.
Hey. My question is, the books you sent to us, the listening part, can we get the audios for it?
Yes, you will get the audios for them.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All right. Any other question? All right. We have no other question. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, same time, we'll have another class. Good night, everybody, and goodbye.
Okay. Same to you, sir. Bye.